Time for the Voice of Indie. Your hosts today are Beem, author and producer for Fresh Ink Group, and Stephen Gees, author, producer, composer, and publisher for Fresh Ink Group.
All right. It's another Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to the Voice of Indie podcast. This is episode number 242. And I'm your host, Beem Weeks. And with me is Mr. Stephen Gees. How you doing, Stephen?
I'm doing great. I got my wide track CD, the new release of Galatea, in the mail today. Ordered it directly from Ron Tippin and his son, Zach Tippin, who are the core members of Wide Track. Check it out, people. Wide Track, Galatea. And also got back early this morning from Atlanta. Took the grandson and his girlfriend to see the Deftones, which is who I'm wearing today at State Farm Arena.
Wow.
And how are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm wearing Exodus, mid-'80s thrash metal band, still around. I just saw them a couple years ago. They're still cranking up the heavy, hardcore thrash metal. We've got a couple of comments out there already. We have in the audience, Robert G. Williscroft, Jill and I are standing by, and Jerry Pate says, Jerry don't stand. So, all right. Welcome aboard to those audience members there. Good to have you there. So tell us about this historical society thing.
Oh, yeah. Braden Dexter Green, who's the author and photographer of Trains of Alabama, has been invited to appear at the Mid-South Chapter, Mid-South Region Rail Fan Events thing for the month of May. On the 17th, he's going to be at the Montgomery Historical Society. He's going to do a presentation about his book and railroad history and stuff like that. They're real excited about it. One of the people who's going to be there is an older fellow who published a book about railroad history in Alabama many, many years ago. And he came across Braden's book and was very impressed and decided to invite him and talk to the Historical Society about him. So he's going down there and hawk his book. What you're seeing here is pictures of Braden doing his school book tour. He's been going to some elementary schools and presenting railroad history and the book and getting kids excited about reading about trains and looking at pictures and learning about them. So congratulations, Braden. He's getting out there and showing his work. And he's just barely 15 years old. So we like supporting young people. We like supporting old people, too, when they're putting their stuff out there. But it's especially cool when somebody that young. In the case of Braden, this was his summer project before starting high school. And now he's in high school. And apparently it's kind of cool to have a book out there when you're in 9th grade.
Yeah. Patty Wiseman's out there doing some things, too. I don't have a placard or anything for her. Did you put one in? Yeah, I don't have it.
I thought I did, but she's in the newsletter. Those of you who subscribe to the newsletter, you can learn about Patty Wiseman there. She visited the winery.
Got drunk.
Yeah, a winery in Texas and with some other people and set up a display and was talking about her children's book, her latest children's book. So congratulations, Patty Wiseman. Keep getting out there and meeting the fans.
Yeah, and if you want to post a comment, you got something to say, or just you have a question for tonight's guest, you can do so by doing all of this. Now, we are not on TikTok tonight. They said that we have to renew that, and we had to. I had to jump through some hoops, and I'm waiting for an answer back. They'll get to me in 24 hours. So tonight's off of TikTok, but we're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on LinkedIn. We are on X, Twitter. And if you're watching us from one of those. So,
yeah. All right. So we've got another book that we're putting out very soon. We're putting the finishing touches on the cover right now. And this is by Patricia A. Guthrie. It's In the Arms of the Enemy. And Patricia has just recently released the novel, Matt's Murder. And we don't have the trailer for that tonight. We played that last week. We'll play it again sometime in the next couple of weeks. But Pat's got a couple of short story collections. She's got Eerie Charms. She's got Legacy of Danger and a couple of spooky, scary novels. She's a great suspense thriller, good storyteller. And we're looking for In the Arms of the Enemy to be out hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I can tell you she's a fantastic storyteller. If you like good murder mystery type of thrillers and some supernatural stuff with the little twists and turns that you don't see coming. She's one you want to check out. G. William Weatherly. He's got a new book coming out. I believe it's a repub, but we're republishing it, and it's been updated. It's called Shepherd and the French Rescue. It's a World War II battle novel, and it is really cool. It's intense, and this guy knows what he's talking about. He knows his business, and so keep an eye out on the newsletter and on this show. We'll tell you when it's ready to go. And speaking of the newsletter, you can subscribe right here. This is all it takes is go over to freshinkgroup.com, find that newsletter, sign up, put your name, your address, and your email address, and all that good stuff. And we will sign you up, and you will be in the know for everything Fresh Ink Group, indie authors, and just indie publishing, and a lot of really cool stuff, indie music as well. As Stephen mentioned at the beginning of this show, he got the new wide track album. I got it a couple of weeks ago, and I've listened to it, and I'm going to drop a review of it. Excellent stuff. These guys are talented, and that stuff will be in the newsletter as well. So, and we'd also like to have you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's we're like we say this every week, but it's true. We're really trying to build something here that benefits everybody, not just us, not just our authors, but authors and musicians in general. Whoever we can get to come on this show, this is who we're out here to do. So.
Yeah, now those of you who have worked with us are familiar with our social media guy, Sam. And Sam was a guy that we hired when he was 16 years old. I mean, he as soon as he turned 16, he got a job at Chick-fil-A, and it took him about a week to decide that wasn't for him. And he went scouring and looking out and found that I was looking for a social media director at the time. And I was interviewing people in their 30s, 40s, not too many much older than that, because it's kind of hard to find people who are experts in social media and 90 years old. But Sam decided he wanted that job, and he earned it. He got with me and kept showing how to do this and how to do that and all these cool little tricks and stuff like that. So Sam's out there constantly putting our authors and our books on social media, and that includes audio books and everything that we do. These book trailers that we show during the podcast, he's constantly got those out there too. We're out there looking to see what's happening. We also do postings, and we promote the podcast and stuff on our pages. And I'm noticing that, some of our people, we don't see them out there hardly at all. And some of them, we see them every now and then. And then we got some that are always out there. We're always seeing them. They're working it. And those are the ones who are selling the books. We can help, and we try to help. But I'm telling you, authors, independent authors, you drive your publicity bus. We'll help as much as we can, but you got to get out there and do that stuff. And I'm talking people like Nell Cooper or Angie Birmingham. Angie Birmingham, she hosts workshops for kids and teenagers on photography and takes them out for like 4 or 5 day workshops and gets scholarships to help them pay to do this kind of stuff. And she posts this stuff. She travels the world and takes pictures, and she posts those, and she's always mentioning her book. And that's how people find out about this stuff. Nell Cooper is another example. She did a chapter book for kids about a pony being bullied called Princess Lil. And we published that like 20 years ago at least. She was one of our first authors that we published under the Fresh Ink Group name. And now she's got a novel aimed at adults, a historical novel called Nowhere to Go But Tomorrow. And she's out there working it. She's getting herself speaking engagements. She's getting invited to meetings. She's, historical society kind of stuff. Since it's a historical book, that's a good angle to play, especially in the area, because it takes place at a defunct mental institution in the Flint area of Michigan. And, people are interested in history. And when they see that she's got a book that's accurate and full of details, well-researched, authentic, and having what you call verisimilitude in the publishing industry, in the storytelling business, when they see that kind of stuff, they want to hear more. And then they go buy a copy of the book. So Nell Cooper, Angie Birmingham, we've got a bunch more that are out there constantly working. And I want to implore you and our audience to, when you run across these people, share, repost, do whatever you can to support them. And then, give them some clicks, go over there, look at the stuff, and help them spread the word. Because sometimes you are that last little step toward helping one of our authors or any independent author find that audience that makes all the difference.
Yeah, and the thing with that is, if you share somebody's X post or Facebook post, and it's them promoting their book. They normally wouldn't reach your audience. Those people who are following you are friends with you. Now they are, because you've shared it, and you may help them sell a couple of books, and
you'll get support back
Yeah.
from those people who see you supporting them. You know,
that's
many
how that
times I
works.
see somebody, sharing one of my blog posts or just anything out there that's supporting me. Boy, I go see who they are, what's going on, and see if I can help them too.
Yeah, I do that. I do that quite a bit. So, yeah.
Actually fun. You know what I mean? Publicity can be work. There's no doubt about it. But you can have fun doing it too. And you meet people, you get to know people, and you become part of the independent community, independent author community, independent publishing community. Or in the case of tonight's guest, maybe the independent music community too.
Yeah, I can remember going back, I guess it's been 13 years now since Jazz Baby was released. And I remember that first getting out there to promote that. First of all, holding a copy in your hands for the first time of your first book. That's an amazing feeling. But getting out there on back then, Twitter, that was the major one. There wasn't even really any Instagram or anything like that. It was Twitter and a few others, and Facebook, and promoted it on Twitter, and it took off, and I started getting a lot of really cool reviews. And then Ann Stewart, who was the manager of Fresh Ink Group back then, she sent me this email from a girl in Ireland, just, raving about Jazz Baby. And it was like mind-boggling that I wrote this book here, and somebody in Ireland on the other side of the world had read it and was telling me in this email what it meant to her. And so that was really cool. And that happened. She found it because somebody shared it on Twitter, and she found the book that way.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm glad you mentioned reviews too, because we have an obligation to post reviews for the people whose books we like and enjoy, and their stories, their novels, whatever, even the nonfiction, because we put out a fair amount of nonfiction at Fresh Ink Group too. Those reviews make all the difference. It's great to see 5-star reviews about your own books because it's encouraging, but you want potential readers, potential buyers to see those 5-star reviews. And outlets such as Amazon, when you start collecting high-star reviews and those numbers start going up, then they say, whoa, something's going on here. And they start showing your book to other potential buyers. And that's how you find new audiences. So go for it, people. Post those reviews, share, and support any independent authors and musicians that you see.
Yeah, and throw out here a little shout out to Verwayne Greenhull. I don't know if he's in the audience tonight. I haven't seen any messages here, but he had a bit of a health issue and had some surgery this past week, I believe it was. And we are hoping that you are feeling better and that you're on the mend, Verwayne. And we hope that you and Lisa are in the audience watching tonight.
Yeah.
So how about we get to this, the top 25.
All right. So I want to emphasize the word print up there. We don't aggravate the ebook numbers quickly enough for this to be of much use, but the print bestsellers we can see fairly quickly in terms of the rankings. So these are the top 25 print bestsellers from Fresh Ink Group for this week. Starting at number 25, we've got Edge of Smoke by Carlisle Toms. He's got 4 novels now, and The Gulls Are Always Laughing, which is a collection of prose and poetry. So Edge of Smoke is the sequel to The Calling Dream, his first. And look at that, right above it, Carlisle Toms, The Gulls Are Always Laughing, A Gay Man's Journey to Healing and Spirituality. That's poetry and prose. Loretta Spencer, A Passion for Service, a candid memoir by the first woman mayor of Huntsville, Alabama. She was a 3-term mayor, and boy, she's fun to sit and talk to. She's full of stories, and this book is full of stories. It's full of pictures. It's just cool. It's history. It's women's history. It's political history. It's Alabama history. It's Huntsville history. It's just a cool book. Now, if you get our newsletter, you'll see that Loretta Spencer is making an appearance this Monday in Huntsville at, I can't remember the name of the bookstore, but she's going to be at a bookstore in Huntsville. And
something on the wall.
Yeah.
Bug on the wall or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah. And I'm going to try to be there. And some people I know are going to try to be there. And hang out with Loretta Spencer, the former mayor. So if you're anywhere near North Alabama, South Tennessee, come on down to Huntsville and we'll shake hands and support Loretta Spencer. Now, the next one, Trains of Alabama. I mentioned Braden Dexter Green earlier. He just turned 15 a couple of months ago. Short lines, rail yards, engines, heritage units, rail fan photos, and more. He's got like almost 200 photos that he took himself, and I was with him during some of those, so he's got some cool stuff. Trains of Alabama is in our number 24 slot. Our number 22 slot. Number 21, The Reality of Interpersonal Leadership, A Guide to Leading Authentically by Janelle A. Jordan. That's kind of a workbook for developing your leadership skills. And she also published Minority Millennials in the Workforce with us, too. And When Angels Fly by S. Jackson, who's really Mary Schmidt. She puts out books as M. Schmidt and Mary Schmidt. And this one is a memoir about losing her 5-year-old son to pediatric brain cancer. And it's a kind of a tough story to read sometimes, but it's heartfelt and reaffirming and shows you really what everybody went through as a family, having to try to deal with that and ultimately it not turning out so good at all. But When Angels Fly is a companion to Sammy, Hero at Age 5, where she tells basically the same story, but from the boy's point of view. She used S. Jackson instead of M. Schmidt because in this book she makes some accusations about what some of the doctors did and whatnot. So she decided to shield her name a little bit, which is why we're here telling you what it really is. But Michael Filippello's Miratambo Moon Song is next up. That's he did the paintings for this children's book, and it's a very cool story. Then we've got Abigail H. Eugenie and Mary L. Smalls. They are both former First Ladies of South Carolina State University, and they published Mr. President, I've Got Your Back, the First Ladies of South Carolina State University. Right now, Abigail is working on a similar book for Alabama A&M University as well. And then we've got Jan Sykes, A Beggar's Bargain, which is the first book in her Bargainers series. The second one, A Noble Bargain, is also out. She's working on the third one right now. Now, what's this Dave Hooker book up here, Beem?
This is, if you're a college football fan, diehard fan, you know about the 1998 Tennessee Vols national championship team. This is kind of the build up to that championship season and the run all the way to the champion. They weren't supposed to win the championship that year. Their best chance was the previous season when Peyton Manning was the starting quarterback. Then Peyton graduated and moved on to the NFL, and they were kind of in a rebuilding mode, but they ended up making a heck of a comeback real quick and turnaround, and they won the national championship the next year. So Dave Hooker writes about that.
Jasper Grawl, The Gates of Valhalla. We had this in the list last week as well, so there seems to be a bit of a surge of interest in this. We published this book nearly 20 years ago, I think, and it's a biting, kind of a supernatural political satire about the afterlife and things being way different in the afterlife than people thought. And it's, like I say, it's a satire, and it's hilarious. It literally is laugh out loud funny sometimes. So we're glad to see Jasper Grawl's The Gates of Valhalla resurging. Fun little novel. Kenneth Lindquist, How to Teach Driving, the Parents Edition. This is a companion to his How to Teach Driving Instructors Edition. Obviously, if you're a parent and you got a teenager or a young person that you're trying to help learn how to drive, the Parents Edition is for you. But in most states in the United States, if you want to be an instructor, a driver's ed instructor, you have to be qualified. Every state has different requirements, but Kenneth looks at all of those and teaches you the things you need to know so that you can pass the tests and qualify to be an instructor as well. Speaking of knowing how to do stuff, if you want to run a food truck business from the ground up, start it, establishment, set up your brand, whatever you want to do with it, A.K. Wingler's got a book to help you do that in Florida called How to Start and Run Your Own Food Truck Business in Florida. What are the other two states she has books for, Beem?
Georgia and Tennessee.
Yeah, so those three states are in the South, but I'm telling you, 90% of what's in these books will apply to just about anywhere for setting up a food truck business. She's got 4 floor plans and just all kinds of information about how to do this. What equipment do you need? What steps do you have to go through? And how to run it efficiently and profitably as well. I'm going to try to pronounce the rest of the words for this podcast correctly, if you don't mind. A Chance to Choose, A Second Chances novel by Jeannie Sharp. That's a Christian romance. And then I previously mentioned Sammy, Hero at Age 5. That's the companion to S. Jackson's, even though it's M. Schmidt, memoir about losing her son to brain cancer. Yeah, we're getting into the top 10. Look at that. In the 10 and 9 slots, 8 Hateful Miles, a sideline pass to Tennessee's fiercest rivalry. That's South Pittsburgh and Jasper, Tennessee. They're 8 miles apart, the two high schools, and they've got a rivalry that's bigger than the planet, I'm telling you. And it's just a cool story. It's full of pictures, and we're finding that people all across the U.S. and in some places around the world are enjoying reading about this. So it's not just about that area. It's about football rivalry, high school football. It's what it's all about, what it goes into it, what the coaches are involved in and whatnot. So 8 Hateful Miles, we recommend Stephen Hargis, and he's a photographer and sports writer for, I believe it's the Tennessean in Tennessee. Now look at that. We got another back-to-back Beam. This is Dr. Helen Burrell. What's this thing?
This is a book. It's for children and young teens to learn about the brain and how it works and how it functions and what the hippocampus is.
Yeah. And I mentioned earlier, The Reality of Interpersonal Leadership by Janelle A. Jordan. This is the hardcover edition. So we're finding that people are liking to have a good permanent copy of this that they can keep around and refer back to. And by the way, you see a bronze star on that one. That means she was tied for 3rd place. Now we're in the top 5, and we've got, I have lost my connection, Beam.
Well, I can hear you.
Okay, here we go. It came back. And now we've got Operation Ivy Bells in the number 5 slot, a Mac McDowell mission by Robert G. Willis-Croft. He's been in there messing around with combining his series into single listings in some of the retailers, working on beefing up the marketing for these. This is the first book in the Mac McDowell Mission series. There are 6 now, I believe 6. And every one of them is just a cool submarine Cold War thriller. And if you like those kinds of naval stories, Robert G. Willis-Croft is your guy because he's lived it and now he tells it. We mentioned Abigail Hughini earlier. She did the Mr. President with Mary L. Smalls. This one's There Must Be Something in the Water. It's her first book. Anthology of the 4th Generation, Descendants of Green Pond After the Emancipation. This is African Americans who lived in the Low Country and then went on to accomplish great things. And she showcases them, shows their photos, tells their stories, and she's created a great little piece of history here. Above that, also tied for 2nd place, we've got 3 silver stars there, all tied for 2nd place. Operation Ivy Bells, we just mentioned. Loretta Spencer, we've already talked about. These are the hardcover editions that have jumped up into the top couple of slots. And then that leaves us with number 1. Have you heard of this book, Beam?
I've heard of it, and it's really cool. And it's a whole bunch of short stories about all true, except for one of them, I believe. You got to figure out which one that is. About Mr. Pate and his 30 years on a submarine and just some really cool stuff. Very interesting guy, and we'll probably have to get him back on here before too long.
Yep, a naval memoir. All right, so that's our top 25. Congratulations, Jerry, on getting the number 1 slot and this week's gold star.
Yeah. Now we have all of these old episodes for years. We did this show from a couple of tin cans and some dental floss and a monkey on a bike. That's what kept the show on the air. And the monkey slipped off the bike and we had to jump over to video, but you can still hear those old audio podcasts at these places here. And if you miss a week here with the video podcast, you can go over there and find them there and there. And so cool. I'm trying to delete some of these placards as we go along. We've got a few comments out here. We got Verwayne is in the audience. We are here. I had someone from the church across the street who needed to jump. And Jill Mayer is telling you the name of that bookstore is Snail on the Wall.
Snail on the Wall. Yeah.
And here is Christy Walker saying, hey, Z, you here? Z is here. And we're going to bring Z in just a second. So we're going to do,
we got to run a trailer and then meet our guest.
All right. So just one?
Sure. Or 2. Yeah, go ahead, 2, because we've got a song from our guest, too.
Okay. So we'll go with this one here first. Yeah, we'll go from this one.
In Journey Through the Lens, Creative Guide to Wildlife Photography, celebrated wildlife photographer Angie Birmingham introduces burgeoning photo takers to their photo equipment and helps them develop the techniques for stunning outdoor photography. From mastering exposure to optimizing focus and lighting, Angie shows how to find the right styles to tell visual stories and present compelling images. Learn landscape composition along with the best ways to shoot animals, birds, and flowers. Find out how skilled photographers capture all the details while manipulating backgrounds and mood. Order a digital copy in your favorite ebook format or collect a print edition in full-sized paperback or case laminate hardcover. Available worldwide from your favorite bookseller. From newcomers to professionals, everybody who loves taking wildlife pictures will thrill at how easy Angie Birmingham makes it for you to continue your own journey through the lens.
Teenager Braden Dexter Green has traveled North Alabama, collecting photos of his favorite trains and railroad settings. From the peculiar freight engines of Amtrak, to the beautiful heritage units of Norfolk Southern, to the new rebuilds of CSX locomotives, Braden chronicles both the commonplace and unusual trains crisscrossing the state, carrying passengers and freight in Trains of Alabama. He takes a close look at some notable short lines, such as the Alabama and Tennessee River Railroad out of Gadsden and the Huntsville and Madison County Railroad Authority, which locks down its engines in the downtown area of Huntsville. Backgrounds include Birmingham's famous Sloss furnaces and several notable rail yards, including the CSX Boyles Yard in Tarrant, the Norfolk Southern Norris Yard in Irondale, and the BNSF East Thomas Yard in Birmingham. Featuring an introduction by renowned wildlife photographer and author of Journey Through the Lens, Angie Birmingham, Trains of Alabama is proudly published by Fresh Ink Group worldwide in a case laminate hardcover edition with premium color printing, a glossy softcover edition with standard color, and all ebook editions. Order copies for yourself and fans of railroad photography. It's the images that are the stars here, those mighty trains that move the world, even as they inspire the passions of one teen who shares his favorites in Trains of Alabama.
All right. Before we get moving too far, and throw this out here. If you want to contact the show, go over to freshinkgroup.com. See where that arrow's pointing? That big, massive arrow? Contact, click that button, and we will get back in touch with you.
Yeah, and at the end of the show, our guest will tell you how you can find her as well. But remember that contact button, because if you ever want to talk to one of our guests or get a message out there and you're not sure how, contact us. We'll make sure we pass it along.
Yeah.
Okay, our guest tonight is Zaida Alfaro. Her name is spelled Z-A-I-D-A, and she says most people tend to pronounce it Zaida, and she's fine with that, however you want to pronounce it, as long as you get out there and buy her books and her music, right?
Yeah.
So, the Miami Music Mystery Series backdrop is the amazing city of Miami. It's beloved and well-known to Zaida. She was born and raised in Miami, and like the novel's main character, Vi, she is a singer-songwriter, Grammy-considered independent artist. All things relating to music or literature are her passion. Many years ago, she became an avid reader of cozy mysteries. The storylines were intriguing, engaging, and funny at the same time. She was so inspired by the authors that she decided to take her music experiences and put them on paper. She published her first novel, The Last Note, a Miami music mystery. Her second novel brought her characters back to life in The Key of Dead, a Miami music mystery. Her third novel is The Hidden Track, a Miami music mystery. The phobias, the dream sequences, and the quirkiness of the main characters are all based on facts. She hopes she was able to once again show readers the love she has for Miami, the Cuban culture, her family, and music. So welcome to the show, Zaida.
Welcome, Zaida.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
So you live in Miami. Have you always lived in Miami? And if not, where else have you lived?
Born and raised
Born and
Miami.
raised. Okay.
Yes.
Hmm.
So
Never lived anywhere else?
a
Uh,
Floridian.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
All right. So you're Cuban and you're part of the Cuban community.
Yes. My
So
parents.
just
Go
Sorry.
ahead.
Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say,
Oh.
so tell us what that community is all about down there.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Good
parents
food.
are Cuban. Yeah, amazing food.
Mm.
My parents are Cuban. Like I said, I was born here in Miami, and a lot of people don't think that I'm Latin. I am. That's why a lot of people don't speak to me in Spanish, thinking that I don't know how to speak Spanish. And yes, my name is Zaida for my Latin community, but I found that a lot of people who don't speak Spanish, it's easier for them to say Zeta. So I go by whatever makes you comfortable. I'm fine
Yeah.
with it. But I love my culture. The funny thing is that I sing English music. I've never recorded any Spanish songs. I don't really listen to Spanish music either. But as far as the family dynamics and eating a lot of Cuban food, I'm 100% Latin in that aspect.
Mm. All my trips to Miami, I always gravitated toward the Cuban community. It's like that's where the food is. I mean, South Beach is fun if you want to go down and see some crazy stuff, but yeah, just the food, and I've seen a lot of Cuban-oriented food trucks all around Miami as well.
Mhm.
And I like sampling food trucks, just because they always have something cool, something a little different, something unique. So that's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
So, what kind of kid were you when you were growing up? How early did you get into music, reading, writing? What other kind of stuff were you into?
I think I started singing by the time I started speaking, I think I started singing. And my mom is very musical as well. She was a piano teacher back in Cuba. And she taught me how to play piano when I was in my teens as well. But whenever we would have parties at home, my sister and I, at the end of the night, we would always perform something.
Hmm.
And so I've been singing. I've probably been singing since I was like 5, to be honest with you. And I'm very like my mother. I'm very creative. I draw as well. I always wrote poems for my parents, for my siblings. Um, I, I I always drew. I always wrote in my journal. Um, I did enjoy playing the piano, but when I picked up the guitar, I was probably 18 years old. That's the instrument that I really truly fell in love with. So, and I kind of learned the basics from a friend of mine, and I self-taught uh, myself how to play the guitar. And in that time period, I took all the poems that I wrote and I made them into music, and
Ooh.
that was my first CD, Train Ride. So Train Ride is pretty much my diary when I was in my 20s. So
Oh, cool.
it's I've always been very creative. So since I can
Well, a lot
remember.
of writers put out a blog that they use kind of in a diary-like fashion. You can put out songs, so musical diary. That's pretty cool, or a musical
Yeah.
blog.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
And we are going to play a song tonight from Zaida
Yeah.
as well. Now,
Now, before you go any farther, we got to see what she's wearing, Beam.
oh yeah,
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Buffy.
I was a big fan in the 90s, and I read comic books as well. So I read the comics as well. So
Cool.
yeah.
Now, education-wise, are you just high school? Did you go to college? And if so, what did you study?
I went to college. I went to Florida International University, English major. Surprise. But my your daytime job will always be whatever it is, but I've always been writing and singing, music since very early on in my life. So yeah, I eventually wrote a book based on all the gigs that I was having, which was The Last Note. Um, And pretty much I took all my experiences that I had at the gigs and put them on paper, killing a few people, but in a good way.
That's the cool thing about writing novels. You can kill
Mhm.
people and get away with it.
Yeah, and at the time it was perfect because my drummer was a homicide detective, so I was able to
Pick his
to-
brain.
oh yeah, and I would send him over the chapters, when I killed someone to make sure I did it correctly, and he really helped me in the detail aspect of like finding a dead body and how to kill them and stuff. So it was a lot of fun being able to call him every day and try to get stories from him and his life story, because I needed to base the Detective Houston, on someone, so he's loosely based on him. So yeah, I used everyone around me as a character, actually.
So then basically all the homicidal maniacs in our audience can go buy your book and learn how to get away with it.
Exactly, but in a good way, like
But
in a nice way. The people who died, it's okay that they died.
Yeah.
They were the bad characters.
Yeah.
Okay, people, we're talking to Zaida Alfaro. She's a singer, songwriter, musician, person who does artwork, drawing, and basically we're going to call her a Renaissance woman too. We're looking for comments and questions. If you want to, whatever channel you're watching through, go on in there and post a note. And we're going to play some trailers now and then come back and learn more about Zaida, her music, and her books.
All right, but before we do that, we'll throw this one comment up here. Is this a friend of yours? That I read the comment earlier. Hey, Z,
Yes,
you here?
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, good to have Christy Walker in the audience watching tonight, and we will be right back after. Let me throw this here. There we are.
Loretta Spencer grew up passionate for helping others. Her volunteer work in support of local causes grew into deep devotion to the city and people of Huntsville, Alabama. She went on to serve 3 terms as the city's first woman mayor. In this candid memoir, Loretta recounts her early rise in politics, the campaigns, the deals, and the accomplishments that helped lead Huntsville to grow into Alabama's biggest city today. Loretta shares original photos, clippings, letters, notes from notables, and much more as she tells her personal stories and chronicles this important era of women's history. Read Loretta Spencer, A Passion for Service, a candid memoir by the first woman mayor of Huntsville, Alabama. Proudly published by Fresh Ink Group, Loretta Spencer's story is available in jacketed hardcover, glossy softcover, and all ebook formats.
Dexter Jones is a military veteran suffering from PTSD. He has flashbacks he can't quite explain. There are gaps in his memory. Is it the result of his head trauma? Or is it the CIA running a program on him? Now a hired gun tasked to eliminate drug traffickers, Dex finds himself in Colombia wearing military fatigues and fully armed, but answering by a name he's never heard. He sets off for an intercontinental mission to uncover the truth, even as assassinations and betrayal at the highest levels of government threaten to destabilize the world. Maybe it's not who Dex is so much as who he might still become. Now in jacketed hardcover, softcover, and all ebook formats, Village Boss by Ronan Duvall is proudly published by Fresh Ink Group.
All right.
It's a very cool trailer. That's the first time we've played that one, isn't it, Beem?
Yes, it is. We got a couple of comments here. Robert G. Willscroft said, "I never killed anyone that didn't deserve it."
I believe it. I believe it.
And we're gonna segue into the music here, and there's a music question here, but I'll hold off on that until.
Okay. Yeah, we want to talk about your music a little bit and then get into your books, Zaida. Are you self-producing? Do you work with producers? Is this independent label? How do you put your stuff? How do you make it, and how do you get it put out there? And then we want to hear some of it.
with the first record, I was actually signed to an independent label. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. So I became, I guess, an independent artist, and I've been pretty much doing everything myself, getting in the studio, recording it, producing it, writing it. So, and trying to get out there as much as I can.
You're using studio musicians. Do you have a regular band, and do you perform live with any of these people?
I did perform live. Then I started performing as an acoustic band, and I got pretty busy when it came to the writing. I was trying to finish the series of the book, so there was too much going on for me at the time, so I had to pretty much focus on something, and I stopped gigging to focus on the book and promoting it and trying to do the book signings and get out there. But at the same time, I wrote a song, which is the one that you guys are going to play, because again, I can never stop writing music. It's like it's in my blood. So the last couple of months of last year were pretty busy for me, trying to complete the third book. And then I wrote a song for my mom and also releasing it myself. It depends on the song. I've had studio musicians, I've had my band members play on a couple of my tracks. So it really just depends on the song and who's available.
Okay, well, speaking of the song, here's that question here. Reagan Wilkinson says, what's your favorite song you have written and performed?
So that is my sister-in-law. Hi, Regan. My favorite song, I think, that I've written to date is called Train Ride. And it's on the first record. And my parents at the time lived in close to Fort Lauderdale. And I was going to school in FIU, so I would take the Tri-Rail to go visit them. And one night, and I still have it. I have this beat up acoustic classical guitar that I wrote the first record and probably my EP on that guitar. I composed on that guitar, and I just took that on the train. And I remember just sitting and watching everyone around me, and I like quietly composed Train Ride and wrote the lyrics. And as soon as I got to my parents, I go, Mom, I wrote a song. And so, and that's been, my favorite song that I've written and that I sing live. It's changed. I mean, singing it live, it's changed since I've recorded it. But yeah, and it's my parents' favorite song as well. So.
Oh, that's cool. So
yeah.
So yeah, we talk about one song and then we're going to play a different song. But what's the story behind this one? This is what's called Mama Said.
Mama Said, yes. Mama Said I wrote a couple of months ago, and I do a lot of living room sessions at my house, and I'll post them and I'll sing covers. But I was getting over a cold one night, but I still wanted to just play the guitar, and I bought a new guitar and I was tuning it and I started strumming it, and all of a sudden I always had the lyric Mama Said written down, and I wanted to make something of it. And I'm talking about I've had it for a really long time and nothing came about it. All of a sudden I'm strumming the guitar and I started saying Mama Said, and I was like, oh my gosh, hold on. So I ran, I got my journal, I looked for like that line, and I continued writing it, and I wrote that song in 10 minutes. So I recorded on my phone. I'm stuffy and everything. And I called my mom and I'm like, Mom, I just wrote you a song. And she's like, oh my God, send it to me. I want to hear. She has a very strong Latin accent. So I said, okay, but I'm going to text you the lyrics in case you don't understand what I'm singing. She goes, okay, send it. And she hangs up on me. So I send it over, and she calls me back probably like 5 minutes later, because she said she heard it twice and she absolutely loved it. And she literally says to me, she goes, finally, you wrote me a country song. And I'm like, really? Like at first I didn't think it was country, But she's like, I've been asking for a country song forever. And I was like, okay, well, there you go. And, you know, it's a song. My mom's my best friend, and she's had my back with every crazy thing I've done. So it's a song saying, you know what, thank you for being honest, for your words. And I'm going to keep going because you said I had to. So it's a thank you song to my mom. And I just hope that whoever has heard it, I mean, I have gotten a few messages saying, thank you for your song because, you know, I was able to dedicate it to my aunt or, you know, my mom or my grandmother. It doesn't necessarily have to be your mom. It could be anyone that raised you and gave you strength. And that's, I've always, with my songs, I've always wanted to give words to people that they couldn't find those words. And I always want to be like, here, take my song and use my words. So
I like
those are some of the best songs where you write something that means something to a lot of different people, and to each different person it might mean something different, but it's you know, it transcends.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and play that. And everybody here can hear it. Because Mama said.
Mama said.
My faith is gone. Mama said life is sweet. Keep smiling strong, although the road is long. Thank you, Mama, for all your words. Thank you, Mama, for being my world. I'll keep on moving. Thank you, Mama. Thank you, Mama. Mama said life is dark. Keep shining on, although the nights are long. Mama said life is love. You'll never stop until you get it. Thank you, Mama, for all your words. Thank you, Mama, for being my world. I'll keep on moving no matter where I go. Thank you, Mama. Thank you, Mama. Thank you, Mama. Mama.
That is very nice. After listening to live grunge metal last night, that's just plain beautiful.
Thank you. fun fact on the cover of the song, that is my mom pregnant with me.
Wow. I was going to ask you who was that in the
back up here. I
Polaroid
gotta
shot.
see it again.
Robert McKenzie, he's commenting. He says, beautiful song. And Robert McKenzie's a big music fan too. So,
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you.
and then we got
And that's not a
Verwayne.
placard you can throw up either, is it? That was on the song, right?
Yeah,
That-
that's on the song. I do think I didn't. No, I didn't. Yeah, I do have that up here. So, then we got Verwayne Greenhouse says, nice song, great vocals.
Thank you.
And here's Regan
Regan.
Wilkinson, great
Oh,
song.
Thank
But
you, Regan.
yeah, I will throw that up here real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my
Oh.
mama.
New context for the photo. That's very cool. Yeah.
I designed that. So I found a picture of her pregnant with me, and I was like, well, that's the song cover. So, and she was very surprised. She loved it.
And I like the
Yeah,
way
no-
that's set up like an old Polaroid picture.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, no offense, Mama, I didn't hear country, but it was a beautiful song.
Great.
It's one that you can definitely be proud of.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, we're talking to Zaida.
Christy Walker
Zaida
says great
Alfaro.
guitar.
Great
So,
guitar, yeah.
Yeah, who was
Thanks,
playing
Chris.
guitar on that?
A friend of mine that
Okay.
also helped me produce the song. He did the guitars.
You want
Oh,
Hear a
but
name?
I did the strumming.
to? Okay.
I didn't do the lead.
All right. He did some nice work. Let's hear his name.
He
Give him a
did.
shout out.
He did Lalo. He did beautiful arrangement to the song.
Robert G. Williscroft says you can really sing, Zaida.
Thank you so much. I know you can't tell by my tiny little voice. I've
Well,
heard
when you
that a
sing, you
lot.
got a big voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. It's funny because sometimes at my gigs, after I've taken a break, I've literally had people come up to me and ask me if I was lip syncing, because I would be like, whoa, and all of a sudden like, thank you for coming, and they'd be like, wait, this can't be like the same voice, but it's me.
Okay. I still want to know the name of that guitarist because he deserves a
Lalo.
shout out.
He said
Lalo.
Lalo.
Lalo. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Okay, like I said, we're talking Zaida, and we're going to play a couple of more trailers here, and then we're going to talk about her books when we get back.
All right.
Psychologist Annabelle O'Brien flees from her psychotic ex-husband in New York City, only to find he is stalking her across the country with deadly intentions. She takes a job in the town of Lake Nature. When a series of attacks place her in even greater danger, Annabelle turns to hostile burnout of a detective, Mark Driscoll, who is assigned to protect her. Then, two women who resemble her are murdered, and the town is gripped with fear. Mark and Annabelle must work together to catch the killer before he catches them. From the celebrated author of such bestsellers as Legacy of Danger and her collection Eerie Charms of the Short Story, Water Lilies Over My Grave is a novel of psychological suspense about one woman searching for a new life, even as she is threatened by her old one. Proudly published by Fresh Ink Group, Water Lilies Over My Grave is available in all print and digital formats worldwide.
Phil Lippert was thrown into the bowels of the Michigan Department of Corrections as a 17-year-old adolescent. He remained entrenched in a world of malfeasance for the next 40 years. With astonishing honesty, he reveals the raw details of what a life of incarceration looks like from the inside. His observations of human behavior and his stellar ability to tell a story reveal the courage and resilience of a man who has survived horrifying and savage injustice. Sometimes tragic, but often humorous and redemptive, Crimes and the People Who Commit Them offers a poignant collection of stories and miscreants and corrupt institutions, tales of men who have made poor choices and suffered grave consequences. Through it all, Phil Lippert displays a sly sense of humor and the quiet wisdom of a man who is, ultimately, a survivor. Lippert's journey has been one of an unrequited longing for freedom. Crimes and the People Who Commit Them is proudly published in jacketed hardcover, softcover, and all ebook formats, available worldwide.
Yeah, and I can vouch that he's a great writer. Was it 40 years in prison he spent? And he became a great writer. It's fiction. Most of that stuff, it's fiction, but some of it's loosely based on, stuff that he went through, and some of it's not. But man, there's some really cool stuff in there, and a couple of stories that are movie worthy. I kid you not.
We like to brag about our authors, don't we?
Yeah. Okay, so now we've heard about the music. Let's talk about the books.
Yes, Miami Music Mystery Series. So
Yeah.
I just finished writing and released the third and final book to the Miami Mystery series, The Hidden Track. So I'm really excited, but sad at the same time.
There was a question back here, which you can address this when we get through with talking about these particular books. But just so we don't forget about working on new ideas, how about we go in order here? Tell us a little something about this one, and then we'll move on to each of the other two.
So the last note I wrote about 6 years ago, and I was probably rejected 100,000 times, but I finally was picked up by Cozy Cat Press, and she gave me a chance. She actually told me, instead of rejecting me and saying no, thank you, she actually said, I will consider as long as you change 5,000 things. And I did, and they picked up my book, and it's pretty much about a singer who gigs every weekend and regularly at this bar, and someone or the owner of the bar gets murdered, or is found murdered at the bar in his office. So it's a whodunit, cozy mystery. It was a lot of fun to write, only because I did base a lot of the people, the locations, on what was going on currently in my life. So I pretty much fell in love with all the characters as I continued writing them, and that was a fun book to write. It was really challenging. The second one, in the Key of Dead, came a little quicker this that time around, and same characters. I added a few new ones, which for me was always fun to do. And I did get permission from my friends sometimes. I'm like, can I, can I use you in my book? And of course it's like, yes. And I'm like, okay, can I describe you, or do you want me to describe you as someone else? And can I use your name or not? So it was really fun writing those new characters. I kind of fell in love. I'm going to give a special shout out to my friend Belinda. She's more like a sister than a friend, but her character is Detective Moreno. And she came in, her character came in conjunction with another detective that was also based on my father-in-law. And I remember asking him, I'm gonna make you a detective in my book, and he's like, okay, great. And he goes, but I wanna be almost retired. I go, okay, perfect. And I'm like, do you want to be married? He goes, no, I want to be a widow. And I was like, okay. He's like, but with exactly 2 kids, and and I was like, okay. So it was fun writing his character alongside with my friend Belinda. And we love each other like sisters, but in the book, like, she can't stand Vi, which is it was kind of fun writing that. And then I concluded the series with The Hidden Track recently, and it was it was sad for me, because I grew to fall in love with these characters. And my sister's character, Alexia, actually became very, very popular in the series. I think they liked Alexia more than they liked Vi, which was great. I love that. And sometimes my sister will go to the book signings with me. And I remember one guy asked my sister for her autograph for the book. And she looks at me like, what do I do? And I'm like, you sign it. She's like, yeah, but I didn't write it. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. You're Alexia in his head. And she's like, oh my God. So she signed it. So it was, I loved seeing that people really connected with her character, but I did as well. So as I was writing this last book, that there was one chapter that I was actually like tearing up, and I was like, why am I like, because I didn't know what I'm writing next, which is the fun part. And I'm like, why am I crying right now? And I'm like, that's because I'm not gonna write these guys. That's it. You know, I'm ending the series. And unfortunately, which I didn't know, the Cozy Cat Press actually closed its doors December as well. So it was kind of like everything ended in a beautiful way, but it was just I guess it was meant to be, for it to be the last book of the series. And I went out with a bang, I think. So
Well, will
yeah,
their closing affect the availability of your books in the future?
no. They're available, ebook, print. They're still out there, so you could
Okay,
definitely
great.
still get them. Yeah.
But you
No,
are
But
percolating a new series, right?
Not a series necessarily. I'm kind of jumping into the psychological thriller genre.
ooh,
And yeah, I already started. I'm like probably 4 chapters in. It's totally different for me, but I'm having fun learning to write it, and testing myself to be a little darker, because cozy mysteries, it's a light, it's a light read. Everything's
they stab them with a smile. Hey.
yeah, like they're dead, but you don't know how, kind of it's not graphic. So in the psychological thriller, it's a little darker, so I like jumping into that, and I'm not basing it on anyone. I can't really, it's pretty much, it's from scratch. So I'm having a lot of fun kind of diving into that genre. I really am.
Now I have a question. You talked about writing people as your characters, and they know it. Have you ever had someone say, "Hey, I would never do that," or "Hey, why don't you make me do this instead?"
No, so far I think everyone's agreed with what I've made them do, which is great. They love it. They love the twist of the character, I think. Although my sister's character, she wasn't supposed to be such a main character, but I loved writing her so much that she pretty much became one of the main characters throughout the entire series. And Detective Houston as well. And actually Detective Gumbar, which he's not based on anyone, which I think it's pretty cool. But no, everyone's liked their characters, which makes me happy. So actually,
Yeah.
my friend Chrissy, that she wrote in, I based a character off her in my 3rd book. So there you go.
I'm gonna throw some of these pictures up here.
Yeah, that's me. I was recording Bulletproof Queen in that photo. It was a fun time. Yeah, that song got Grammy considered, which was really big for me. It was a very exciting time for me.
Cool.
Beam, do you still have the 3 covers side by side? New Scene 6.
But
I see it down there.
Yeah.
Zaida, what's the story behind these covers? Did your publisher provide these? An artist?
My publisher provided them, and I think she did a great job.
Yeah, they've definitely got they've got a Miami look, even.
Yeah.
Miami.
Yeah, that's
cool.
one of the things I love about it too, the colors.
Yeah. Okay. Have you had some fan reaction where you've been out there and met some people, like when you were performing live or when you're promoting books or anything like that? Anything poignant that really meant something to you?
Every one of those meets always means something to me. I don't. My mom always tells me that I'm humble in the fact that I don't really see, I guess, the good that I might like give to people, if it's through my music or my books. But there's many times where people have come up to me after a show, or a book signing, or because at the book signings I also play some of my songs at the end, and it's fun. I mean, it's who I am. I know it's it feels good to just sometimes sing a cover and I have everybody sing along with me. That's one of my favorite things to do, because I really think that music brings everyone together, no matter where you are. But I've had many people come up to me and say, thank you. I've had the worst day, and thank you for singing this song. You like got me out of my funk, or I thank you for singing this song. It reminds me of this person or that person. And those little statements always make me feel so good, because I knew that I succeeded as a singer or as a songwriter or as a writer. Like, oh, your book made me laugh, and thank you, I needed that. Those simple words to me just absolutely mean everything to me. So yeah, they all touch my heart in one way or another. That's what it's what inspires me to keep going, because this industry is hard. And but those little moments, or those when you think that you're not good enough, or when they come up to you and they say, you know what, thank you, that's when I'm like, okay, I have to keep going, because there is someone listening, and that means everything to me. Yeah.
Yeah, when you have something like a song that touches people, and they tell you what it means to them, and it really uplifts them, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. That's what I believe. I believe this is what you're designed for.
Yeah.
Exactly.
A lot of times our next question would be, what advice do you have for others? But I want to point out, you just gave some really good advice to others. One of the big differences in the publishing industry that we've noticed over the last few decades is that people expect to know the author more. In the age of social media, they want to connect and know who that person is. And we try to get our authors, when they're out there promoting, to understand it's not just about telling people about your book, it's introducing yourself. And if you're out there promoting your book, but you're singing your songs and doing all that kind of stuff too, you're showing them who you are. And I think that's one of the best possible advices you could give to somebody in music, in writing, in art, whatever they're doing. When you find your audience, they want to get to know you as well as your work too. And then that helps give context to the work. So I like to see you doing that. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So Beem, do you know how to find her and how to
how do people find you, fans of your music and your books? How do they find you on social media? How can they make contact with you?
My handle on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter is Zaida Music, Zaida Music. And my website is zaidamusic.com. So as long as you type in Zaida Music, I'm going to pop up anywhere.
That's cool. Now, I saw one time on Facebook a couple of years ago, I think you were promoting doing a live performance in Clearwater. Does that sound right? The Clearwater area?
I've performed in so many locations, so probably.
Well, I have a very good friend who lives in Clearwater, and I was thinking, wow, the next time she plays around Clearwater, I'll go down there, visit my friend, and we'll go over and watch Zaida. And I haven't seen any promoting since. Do you think you'll do any more live shows in the near future?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I took a little break when it came to performing live. But if I do, trust me, I will promote it for sure. Right now, I'm singing, but in my living room and singing for you guys, and I'll take song requests and I'll try to, sing that song. So in that aspect, I am still playing, but as far as playing live, I'm taking a little break. But I'm out there trying to support local musicians as well. Like you said, it's a community. Miami has a really good circle when it comes to musicians, and everyone's trying to support everyone. We don't have a lot of venues here that, I've noticed that when people think of Miami, they think of South Beach, right? So South Beach is like clubs or, Spanish music. So when it comes to live music for songs like pop rock or cover songs, it's we don't have many venues that we can perform at. So I try to support all my musician friends and, kind of promote their gigs and try to have people get out there, because we need to support one another in this community, whether it's being a musician or even as a writer as well, when you're in that little community of writers. So
do you do TikTok?
I actually don't do TikTok.
Because I'm telling you, there's a lot of musicians, singers, songwriters that they do quick little lives, do a song or two, and then they're done. But that video stays on there.
My
The guy
sister
that
keeps telling me to do
Yeah,
it because she's
Steve-
addicted to TikTok.
the guy that we saw down there a couple of times in was it Huntsville?
Huntsville, yeah.
Yeah, he's on there, stapled together music, and I see him on every night. He does the live stuff from his clubs, but he'll also sing from his living room. So, and there's a bunch of them, and they get a lot of fan reaction. You'll pick up new fans there. I'm telling you, TikTok.
I think I'm gonna finally give in and try it.
You can do a pre-recorded one and post it like a video on YouTube or whatever, or you can go live, and it'll, even after you go live, it'll still be up. So
Very cool. I'm gonna have to check it out. Thank you.
All right, Zaida, Verwayne Greenhost said it well. Thanks for stopping by and talking to us. Everybody had a good time. We enjoyed hearing you, and we enjoyed seeing your books and learning about those as well. Maybe the next time you're on, you'll do a little live thing for us or show us some of your artwork or something like that. But we definitely want to have you back.
I would love to. Thank you.
All right, everybody, watch next week. Check your newsletter. Patty Wiseman. She writes novels. She writes children's books. She's very cool. We've known her for a while. She's a Texas author, and she's going to be on Voice of Indie. And then after that, we've got Patrick Joseph Healy, and we know next to nothing about him, but he's got a song called Please Let Me, or a book called Please Let Me Save You. And we're going to find out all about this guy, what he's about, who he's, his character. He's giving us the eye there. He's giving us the eye.
And, he just reached out to us and said, hey, can I be on your show? And he asked politely. And so we said, yeah, why not? Yeah. After that,
Angie Birmingham. She wrote the introduction for Braden Dexter Green's Trains of Alabama, and she put out her own book, Journey Through the Lens, Creative Guide to Nature Photography. We're going to show some of her pictures during the show, and you will all be impressed, too. So Angie Birmingham will be in 3 weeks. And then beyond that, we've got Loretta Spencer, Braden Dexter Green, and a few others that we haven't locked in dates yet, but we'll have them here soon.
Yeah, and thank you for tuning in, Regan Wilkinson. So
yes, thank you, Regan. Love you.
Right.
All right. Remember the name, people. Zaida or Zaida Alfaro if you're looking for a book. And best of luck to you. Thanks for stopping by, Zaida.
Thank you for having me. Good night.
All right. We'll see everybody next week.
We're going to run another commercial on the way out, and then we'll see everybody next week. Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
True love is nurtured in the conviction that you both value your partner's happiness as much as your own. But achieving such confidence in any relationship is a challenge. No matter what lifestyle you pursue together, it's through honest communication that you will learn to protect yourselves and each other, to shed the clutter and noise as you propel your own unique spiral of love to exhilarating new heights. From finding your soulmate through growing old together, Maximizing Happiness Through Intimate Communication lays out a complete system with everyday examples, simply explaining relationship dynamics like persistent problems, the transformation of hurts, concepts of time, components of anger, addictions, turning work into play, protecting vulnerability, reinforcing trust, sexual communication, and the never-ending stages of love's spiral. By the late Marshall Shearer, MD, and his wife Marguerite Shearer, MD, Maximizing Happiness is proudly published by Fresh Ink Group. Don't be discouraged by gimmicks and self-help gurus. Discover the best of growing yourselves that ultimate, most meaningful love.
You've been a part of Voice of Indie, a production of Fresh Ink Group. Spread the word, support our guests, then find us at freshinkgroup.com and be sure to hashtag Fresh Ink